Hey, Trevor, so Paul Feinbaum's been saying this. He's been saying it for some time. He doesn't think that Urban Meyer is going to be coach of Ohio State next year. Let's start with that. Do you think he's correct? Will Urban Meyer be there at Ohio State next season?
I expect him to be there next season unless there is a real serious problem with his health. I think people that have watched him for a long time can see him on camera on the sideline, and sometimes it looks like he's just not well. He doesn't look vibrant. Now, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with him. It might mean that he's just exhausted because of all this situation, and it shows in his appearance and in his posture. But unless there's something with his health, I expect him to be there.
Do you think he'd be a good pro coach? I mean, I look at these odds, and I have a team that I think in the pros needs a new coach. So I look around, I'm like, what's the biggest talent you could find? Who could you bring in? Do you think Urban Meyer, after spending all this time in college, just building up 3 different programs, does that skill set translate? Would he be a good coach in the NFL?
Urban Meyer would absolutely be a good coach in the NFL if he had the right offensive and defensive coordinators to run the kinds of systems he need to run in the NFL. The reason is this. What do you need to be an excellent coach in the NFL? You need to have the respect of your players. You need to be able to manage a large organization. And the thing that Urban Meyer does so well is establishing culture. And that culture at Ohio State is not one of, it's my way or the highway. I am Urban Meyer, and I will rain on you from the top down, buckets of bricks if you don't do what I tell you. That's not what it's like. He is very much a disciplinarian, but what he does is establish the expectation and then let the players and the assistant coaches implement the expectation, and he will do that well in the NFL as well.
Trevor, I hear you, and it's funny, the things that you're using as pluses on his resume, I kind of feel like I almost put him in the negatives category.
Why?
Hear me out. I was just talking about this with Bubba, who's running the board there. We're both Cowboys fans. And I don't know, and maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment, Trevor, truly. But I look at Sean McVay, and I look at Andy Reid, and I look at these guys who, at least when it comes to Sean McVay, I think what you would attribute his success to is his ability to scheme and draw it up on the board, right? X's and O's. I don't know that he's the manager that Urban Meyer is. In fact, I look at humility is a big part of that, bringing in a guy like Wade Phillips, right? Knowing what he doesn't know. And so therefore, what's made him great is what he does know as well. It's scheming up offenses. Urban Meyer's a manager of men. But in the NFL, I sort of want somebody who's going to scheme some guys wide open and confuse defenses right now.
But why does that have to be the
Meyer?
head coach? Why does it have to be the head coach? Why isn't that your coordinator? Why should the head coach be the head coach and the guy that schemes everybody open?
It seems like because they'll hire your coordinator away. If you're good at it, right? How about this? No NFL team could hire Lincoln Riley as their offensive coordinator right now, right? None. Because, first of all, if he was willing to leave OU, he'd get snatched the next year by a different NFL team to be their head coach. It's just inflation, right? If you're good at offensive coordinator, you're going to get a head coach job like that.
Well, by that standard, though, coaches that are defensive-minded would never be able to have a good offense on their team because they're a defensive head coach, and their offensive coordinator, if he's good, he'll be snatched away. So by that same standard, it's impossible to have a good phase that's not the same phase as the head coach.
Yeah, that's fair. Look at you debating me. Look at you winning. Trevor Matich,
Not even
you're on the
yelling
Will
at
Cain
you
Show.
either. How about that? That must be new.
It's usually this tactic that's used against me.